Good afternoon. Today is the 10th of December, or it should be when you're watching this, and I'm going to introduce you to some more information about Tweed Jacket Reviews, and I'm going to ask you all to vote for your favourite episode. So this video is going to be something of an experiment for me. It's going to involve me chopping up what I say into many different parts, and so I can insert pictures of all the cars that we've reviewed on Tweed Jacket Reviews so far, and you can write in the comments below what you think is your favourite episode. You can also write what are your sort of top 5 episodes. That's absolutely fine. So just put them in the comments below and I will add them up, and at the end of the year we will award someone, don't know who yet, the prize for the best episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews. It's as simple as that. So the first episode we ever filmed was back in September 2018, and it was this car that I'm sitting in right now, the Seat TOLEDO. I had the format of how we were going to do things quite set out in my head before we started, but you'll see from that episode, if you watch it, how early things are. I can't look at the camera straight. There's lots of times when I don't really know what I'm saying. But it is the episode that for ages was the best Tweed Jacket Reviews of all, as watched by people on YouTube. So there we go. It's also the episode from which the diesel joke on my channel comes from. Whether that's important to any of you, I don't really know. But that's where the fact that we can't talk about diesels comes from. And maybe at the end or at some point I'll tell you why that is. Next episode was filmed the day after the Seat TOLEDO, and it is the 2014 MG3 style. Again, a very early format in Tweed Jacket Reviews. I think possibly this is better than the TOLEDO one. Certainly for ages, this is the one that people would view most without realising it, because it contained a lot of footage that was then put into the title sequence. Mr. Franks, when he was editing the episodes, he used the MG stuff as a sort of reference, and there's so many little good bits which look nice, even if the episode itself I'm not sure is one of the best, but we keep them in because it's so good. It's where the key shot comes from, for example. Yes, not a very good episode, but it's probably better than the Seat one. I don't know, you'll have to watch it for yourself again and decide. We stopped filming more episodes of Tweed Jacket Reviews, first of all because I wasn't being offered too many cars to film, and secondly because we had a similar situation to this year where we kind of ran out of money and had to stop making them. One thing that was nice was that my friend Richard Jackson, who I'll get onto again a bit later, said that we could film his BMW i3 and he would have filmed it for me himself, which it kind of shows, unfortunately. He did his best, but Mr. Franks edited this as best he could, but you'll see it's not done to the same standard as the others are. The car itself has had hardly any views on YouTube. I don't know why. It's an interesting car. But yeah, that's the first car that we filmed where I was sort of thinking, why does nobody want to watch a video of this car? It's always the way of the YouTube algorithm. You never know what's going to happen. Next, right at the beginning of December 2018, we filmed Mr. Frank's very own 2018 pre-facelift Skoda Fabia estate. In terms of the aesthetic of this, the review looks quite good. We filmed it near Edinburgh. We filmed it at a very nice place. The only problem is the sound is totally awful. The sound is rubbish on this video. We were using at that time a separate recording device for it, and it just failed essentially. And so the sound is terrible, but it is a very decent review and it's a good car. Mr. Franks chose well. I didn't have too much influence in him buying that, but it's a good car. Next up, we now come into 2019 and a sort of more familiar style of Tweed Jacket Reviews. I might just refer to my notes here as to which came in which order, because sometimes I forget. Oh yes, first of all was my friend Tim's brand new 2018 Volkswagen Golf Mark 7.5. That one had the longest name ever. It was called the 1.5 TSI Evo Blue Motion SE Nav. Absolute mouthful. It's a very decent car, but the spec choices were a bit unusual that Tim had made. That video's done really well on my channel for a reason I don't really understand. It wasn't my favourite to film. The conditions on it weren't great, but Tim gave us a car that was virtually brand new. It had done fewer miles than a press car. I'd done 700 miles when we filmed it. And that was a real sort of glimpse into kind of the future for me of it's like getting press cars and stuff like that. A really low mileage current model car. It's nice, but I wouldn't say that's my favourite review, but some of you disagree because you seem to love it. After that, there was the Audi Q3, and this was lent to me by a friend of mine who bought her car a few months beforehand and said, yes, you can film my brand new Audi. Now this is a first generation Q3, it's not the current one, so she got it at a healthy discount. But up until for quite a while, this was one of the best cars we'd ever filmed. It actually has very few drawbacks actually, but it's an expensive car and everything, so you'd expect that perhaps. But I very much enjoyed it. I think it's a fantastic car. The main disadvantage in that was the infotainment screen was very outdated because the car was launched in 2011 and it wasn't updated really until the new model came in. So yes, I wouldn't say I've had a huge number of views on that, but I put it at the beginning of the playlist because it's a decent video I think we made of that. Next we have what was a complete experiment in Tweed Jacket Reviews. That was making something of a comic one. Some people love this. It's the 2008 Peugeot 207, which is owned by my friend Amanda. The car just was awful. It was just awful in every way. It tried to kill us at a junction by stalling. The boot was full of sand. The interior wasn't very nice. The window switches were held on by cable ties. The car hadn't been serviced properly. Just an absolute disaster. And I got really, really animated in that one. I know I've had a lot of dislikes on the video, but I stand by what I said. The Peugeot 207 is a pretty bad car. It's not a good car. There's so many other cars you can buy in the super mini class for the same money. So yes, whether you like that video or not, I think it's a brave experiment that we did, and we had a lot of fun making that one. So we've come out of the first filming block of 2019, which was 28th February, 1st of March, and now we're on to the second filming block, which was 11th and 12th of April. First car we filmed for this, if I get this right on my list here, would be the 2014 Chevy Cruze diesel. It's owned by a couple of friends of mine called Alan and Sarah. It used to be my car. Again, we put a lot of effort into filming that video, and we we spent a long time doing it, and it's absolutely sunk. Nobody has watched it. The car as well, everybody keeps telling me how bad the car is. I had two of these cars. They're not bad cars. Honestly, they're not bad cars. They're very cheap. They're mostly fairly dependable, and they have a good level of equipment. They're not bad cars, but people obviously voted with their feet, and they haven't watched it, so perhaps that's what you think too. I don't know. That day we filmed a review of another forgotten make of car, a 2011 Chrysler Delta that was supplied by another friend of mine. And yes, I really liked it. It was one of the biggest surprises of the year as far as I'm concerned. The Chrysler Delta is actually quite a good car. It's not as rubbish as I thought it was. The review produced one of the best jokes we've ever made on Tweed Jacket Reviews. It's a decent car. It's quite surprising actually how decent the car is. yes, I'd probably recommend you watch that. There's not many reviews of a Delta out there, particularly not from the last, say, 5 years. If you've not even heard of the car, then just give it a watch. It's a pretty decent car, and the review I thought was quite funny. Next, we come to what was for a long time the longest of all the Tweed Jacket reviews, which is the 2013 BMW F10 5 Series. This was like a last-minute replacement for two cars we were going to film. One which a friend of mine subsequently provided for a later review, and then another one which we haven't filmed yet, and we will do at some point. But yes, my friend Alex offered me his 5 Series. I needed a car to film. He provided it, and it was great. I wouldn't say I'd buy a manual 5 Series particularly. I wouldn't say even I'd buy this type of 5 Series. It's a little bit large for me, but it's a really nice car. It just felt like we've actually arrived in making these videos, and and we've had lots of nice cars since then too. So thanks again, Alex, for providing your lovely BMW. Next, we now move into a lot of the videos that you'll be very familiar with, perhaps if you watch the channel. We did a series of 4 retro-themed Tweed Jacket reviews. First of all, 3 videos in May with Mr. James Coleman, the rubbish mechanic, and starting off with what might be one of my favourites of all time, the 1982 Ford Granada Mark II 2.8 Gear X Estate. There's not much more to say about it than it's wow, it's an amazing car, both in terms of historical importance and just what it's like. It just incredible. I really love that car. Mr. Coleman loves it. I think most of you love the review too, so there we go. This might be the best one ever. I don't know. I will have to see. Another surprise disappointment for me was seeing how few people watched the 1990 Nissan P10 Primera review. We filmed that on the same day as the Granada in terrible weather, and it's a surprisingly good car. I loved the Primera. I thought it was brilliant. I loved everything about it. The only thing is I'd probably have a model which actually had fuel injection and, not a clock instead of a rev counter, but it's a surprisingly good car to drive, and they're so cheap. I mean, if you can find one, they're very rare. But yes, if you haven't seen that, give it a watch. Next, we have another classic review, Mr. Coleman's Volvo 960 Estate from 1995. It's a very rare CD model. He subsequently sold it. Again, fantastic car. Volvo is very nostalgic for me. I can see why so many people love that car and love the review. Now we're in June, and it's the first video that was filmed by Matt Richardson from Furious Driving. Again, the sound didn't work out very well for this. This is his 1993 Rover 220 Coupe, also known as a Tomcat. I really enjoyed driving that car, even though the suspension was kind of broken, and the ride is so hard in that car, it's unbelievable. It was just a lovely car to relive some memories, because I used to have Rover R8 myself, and the first of many reviews that Mr. Richardson actually has done for me, which is brilliant. Next, we move on to another Matt Richardson review. This time is the only one he's filmed and edited for me. That is the 2019 MG3 1.5 Exclusive. Funnily enough, although this review has only been out since July, it's had a lot more views than the 2014 MG3. I really liked the 2019 MG3. Matt quite liked it. He did a review of the car for his channel as well. A lot of differences between the old and new model. Surprising number, actually. If only they could sort that engine out, that would be better. Now we're into a block of filming we did actually before the MG3, but with Mr. Franks. And again, a video which Mr. Franks and I did on a 2016 Seat Leon 1.4 TSI FRDSG. Yes, the ST version of the Leon. That was a fantastic review. We loved filming it. We loved the car. It's got virtually no serious flaws at all, and yet nobody's watched it. It's a fantastic car. The video was one of the best Mr. Franks has ever done, and none of you have watched it. I don't know why that is, but yeah, there you go. Next video was a 2017 Nissan Duke. This is in the same vein as the Peugeot 207 review. We tried to make it funny. We tried to make it, you know, sort of light-hearted, and we kind of failed a bit because we got a bit in trouble because I hated the car and didn't, you know, sort of hold back on that. I did give a balanced opinion as I could. I didn't entirely say a lot of bad stuff through it, but the owner of the car wasn't that happy with us as to what we'd said. So yes, I have to be very careful in the future if I don't like a car to sort of be a bit more balanced about it. But we had a lot of fun doing it. I don't know why people like this Duke. I think it's a terrible car, but you know, I'm not the average person who drives one of those. So there you go. Next, delayed from filming in April, the 1998 Audi A3 1.8 SE, a car that I sourced myself in 2017. This was the quickest video we've ever filmed in Tweed Jacket Reviews. I think we did the whole thing in 1 hour and 20 minutes. Quite astounding, really. The car itself, for the amount of money that you can buy them for, is a really good car. It really should have, I suppose, retrospectively been part of no budget reviews rather than Tweed Jacket Reviews. Again, not many of you have watched it. I'm not sure how good an episode it is. I think it's okay. But yes, let me know what you think. Now we're on to another press car from MG, the 2019 MG ZS 1 litre automatic, the exclusive model. I loved that car. I thought it was great. I thought Matt did a very good job editing it. We got some nice drive-by shots in it. It's so good. In fact, we stuck some of the stuff in the new title sequence that we started, which was, I think, from the Astra H review. Yes, a brilliant car. The first ZS that I did a proper review on, and certainly not the last one. Now we're into a block of filming that I did in the north of England, the northwest, in September with Mr. Franks. First one of these was the 2002 CITROEN SAXO 1.1 Desire that was supplied by Matty from Matty's Cars. Huge nostalgic car for me because I lost my test in one of those, the pre-facelift version, and yeah, the car was surprisingly difficult to drive. Actually, I didn't particularly enjoy driving it because of the pedals being so close together, and the fact that there wasn't really any power, and the fact that it wasn't very comfortable. But hugely nostalgic car, hardly any around anymore. Yes, I did really enjoy making the video with Matty, even if the car, you know, in terms of what the average person is driving now, the game's moved on a lot. But I can see why he likes it. Next, another car which we spent a long time sort of filming, and I thought, you know, we did a good job on, the 2018 Mark IV Toyota Prius, supplied by my friend Richard. This car had been offered originally back in April for Tweed Jacket Reviews, and it took until September to film it. But yes, again, a review nobody's watched. Nobody's watched the Prius review. It's a bit of a shame because I think, again, the review's very good. I kind of like the car. I didn't think it was as bad as some people told me it was. But yes, again, I don't know why no one's watched it. A video that we did, which was influenced by an earlier one, was the 2010 Vauxhall Astra 1.4 that my father-in-law owns, and I had a good time filming this. We filmed this around where my father-in-law lives, and Mr. Franks had a good time as well. I think. Yeah, I think it turned out okay. There's a very funny edit in this for reasons I won't go into, but yeah, I don't know whether you'll be able to spot that, but yes, again, a review we kind of enjoyed, and you probably could have made an episode of no budget reviews out of this, because you can buy these less than £1,000. A nice one like his is about 2,000, but yes, definitely steering me in the direction of no budget reviews. Bit of a bonus really was the Rover 620 GSI. Again, it's a video which Matt from Furious Driving filmed for me, and also he filmed a review of the car on his channel. I didn't own the car very long, and I paid £320 for it, but we had a lot of fun making the video. We've got some nice cornering shots in there. This was the first video, I think, that might have a new title sequence in it, if I remember correctly. I can't remember exactly. But yes, a very, very good video. I quite like the car as well. Definitely worth a watch. As far as you're all concerned, the MG ZS EV is the best review I've ever made, because more of you have watched that than anything else. In fact, it's had over 7,000 views at the time of recording this. That car took a lot of planning to get. The weather was terrible. We were thrown out of Hatfield House car park, but we still did it, and I think it turned out okay, all things considered. We even had loads of outtakes in it. We had a lot of fun despite the terrible weather and the sort of challenging situation we filmed that in. So I'm not surprised a lot of you like it, but I have other reviews out there. I don't just drive MGZ SUVs all the time. Next we go on to another Maverick to the filming block. This was in last month. This is a 2003 Mazda MX-5 supplied by Rob from We Shall Feast. I really like this car. Even though the camera broke halfway through the review, we managed to do the best job we could. We had some sort of problems in that I lost some of the footage, and we had to use a lower quality copy of it to flesh it out. But I thought the review turned out quite well. I hope you like the car as much as I did. I think it's great. At the time of recording this, this is the most current episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews, and it said 2000 Alfa Romeo 145 2-litre twin spark Cloverleaf. Again, it's a car that's owned by Matt from Furious Driving. I thought this car was great. It's not the most practical car in terms of everyday driving, because it has, they do have issues with rust. They also have terrible turning circles, but incredible steering, incredible gearbox, lovely engine. I'm looking forward to doing more Alphas in the future. Next, the MG HS. This video hasn't been uploaded yet, but we have filmed it and it should be up quite soon. 2020 MG HS 1.5 exclusive manual. Absolutely fantastic car. Probably the best petrol car MG make. Really up the game in terms of quality and technology. Lovely to drive. Very nice to look at. We also got given the car really early on in the sales life of an MG HS. So I hope you'll like it when that's up. Next, we filmed a 2018 MG GS 1.5 Excite manual. This was a car that I'd been looking forward to driving for some time, and I didn't enjoy it. I don't think as much as I expected. The car just wasn't quite as I don't know what I expected, to be honest, but it was just a little bit of a kind of maybe a surprise after the HS how different the GS was. The GS isn't a bad car. It's very spacious, very practical. They have very good value for money, but I don't quite know why. This one maybe won't be the best review. I don't know. You'll have to tell me. finally, at the time of recording, it's the 2019 MG ZS 1.5 manual. Now, having driven the automatic version and the electric version earlier this year, I was keen to do the manual version with a basic engine, same engine as an MG3. Again, pretty much the same conclusion as I expected. I liked it, but not as much as the automatic. That's a pretty interesting summary for you. I don't think it's a bad car, not really, but I just think it's not the best ZS in the range, although it is the cheapest. Now a video we haven't actually filmed yet, which is the Volkswagen Polo G40. That'll be coming out, I don't know, sometime later this month. Filming that later this week with Mr. Franks up in Edinburgh. So yes, I hope you enjoy it. Right, the light hasn't completely faded yet, so I've done okay. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please don't forget to leave your comments below as to which one of these cars you thought was the best video. I'm not looking for the best car that you thought, I'm looking for the best video. Which of the videos did you think was the best? I think possibly I might have to do my kind of top 5 or something like that, or bottom whatever of the sort of videos at some point. But yes, it's up to you now to vote for which you think is the best episode of Tweed Jacket Reviews we've done so far. Thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching.